Cheers. Nice cup of milky green tea. The best band in the world ever. The second best band in the world ever is another British band, Oasis, about to start a world tour. They'll be going to America as well as lots of places around Europe. Now, lots of my videos are inspired by comments that I receive, and so this video is not inspired but prompted because it was already in the pipeline. Because it's evident that the vast majority of my viewers haven't really got a clue what I'm about, and if you're relatively new viewing, then that's understandable. It takes a long time. But even people that have been viewing me for many years, I've been doing this 16 years, people, 16 years, and I've made a lot of videos, 5,000–6,000 videos, and I've talked about a lot of stuff, and people who have been watching me will still say absurd things, just so far-flung from any so-called reality, what's going on with the awakened brave. And invariably what they are doing is they're suffering from the Dunning-Kruger effect, which basically entails people who are stupid thinking that they're smart. They think in their infinite stupidity that they are wise, and they can't perceive higher levels of wisdom. And wow. The classic example is my younger sister. I don't have any older sisters, by the way, but what she doesn't know about the world, never having read a book, isn't worth knowing. And she even has the audacity to proclaim that she doesn't need to read, she just knows. Well, what can you say about that? It's just the height of ignorance and arrogance, isn't it? That whatever is rattling around in her tiny little mind is the true reality of the world. But that's what we're dealing with, and that's what the vast majority of people are like. And I'm always trying to conduct service with you guys, but it's always falling on deaf ears, because there's only ever like 10% of you at the most that ever get involved in comment and impart any information. The rest of you will never do it. You'll never thumb up, you'll never put a comment down, you'll never get involved. And you know, it is what it is, and I think it's just the world, it's just people, because you look across the board with other channels, it's just a tiny percentage, and so it is what it is. And I think generally with the YouTube audience, it doesn't even matter. I mean, I could ask you now, I'll ask you, get a pen and paper, get ready to write something down. Write down what you think my channel is about. Write it down. Pause the video, go and get a pen and write it down. Write down a few words or a sentence, what you think this channel's about. And then click back on the video and listen to this answer. This channel's about many, many things, but the rudimentaries, the basic level of what I'm doing here is steeped in philosophy, human psychology, spirituality, religion, and metaphysics. Metaphysics is it's a branch of psychology which is delving with the supernatural and things like that. Meta means outside, physics is so-called physical reality, which isn't physical, so it's a complete misnomer. And so those are the subjects. And so the next question is, well, how many of you are versed in those subjects? How many of you have read at least one book on all of those subjects? How many of you have read 5? How many of you have read 10 on all those subjects? How many of you have read 50? How many of you have read 250? Well, I've read thousands of books collectively about all those subjects, and been listening to documentaries and conversations and debates for 16 years. Every single day, circumstances permitting. But if I'm not privy to a computer, then I'm reading. And if I am contained, I'm reading for 10-12 hours every single day. That's just what I do. And so, what can I expect? What can I expect of you guys? There's all different sorts that watch me, and there's a small portion who are spiritually awakened beings, philosophical of mind, got some sort of knowledge of psychology and things like this. But I don't see much evidence of that in the comments. And so I can only assume that the vast majority of you are not. And you watch my videos for the straight talking, the multifacets of things I discuss. On some level you're interested. And some of you seem to consider that you gain benefit from the videos. But it's always been pretty perplexing to me, because I'm always trying to extract out of you what you are actually getting, and I'm always offering everyone the facility to come and tell me what you're getting, tell me something about your life, tell me what allegiance you have with some of my thoughts, but alas, 1 in 1,000 of you does. I've got a conversation lined up this Sunday by a viewer and someone I consider a friend, who is going to be speaking with me about the characters and roles I play and my relationship with the viewers, and you know what I'm doing here on this channel and all different sorts of things like that. But what the vast majority wouldn't really be aware of is the deep complexity of what is actually going on. There's so much going on, and if you only tune in from time to time, then you know, you're transfixed on that particular moment in time and what's being said, and you're absorbing that or rejecting it, premised on your own ego, because most people, they can't step outside of their ego to listen, because listening's very, very complex, and it's outside of the realms and parameters of most human beings to really listen. There's a whole different world that people are just not aware of. There's different ways to read, there's different ways to listen, there's different ways to speak and converse with people. There's a whole bunch of stuff that the vast majority of humans have got no inkling into at all. And today I was speaking about this stuff to my therapist, and I'm like, this is why I elevate myself to my ivory tower and, you know, think very, very seriously along the lines of cosmic God consciousness incarnated in some sort of Messiah. Because everything that Jesus said, I've said 1,000 times more. And I just look at how the whole world is embroiled in that, when they don't even know what Jesus was saying. Even the Catholic priests and all the rest of the entourage, very, very few of them have any real idea of what this metaphysical reality is. They're too steeped in the dogma, taking on board everything being literal in the Word of God in Bible, which is just so preposterous on a billion levels. And it's just, it all amounts to abject stupidity. And so I have come here to seek out intelligence. That's what I've come to do. And it's a very, very far and few between fleeting thing. So what I'm doing for you people is I'm speaking about psychology. I'm speaking about my psychology. I'm speaking about the characters. I wrote a whole book about it with all the different sorts of facets of angels and demons and astral entities and a whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole myriad of things going on in this dimension for those which have a broader expanse of consciousness. And every single ghoul or demon or angel or devil that you've ever heard of, they're all real in one level, in one sense, in any given dimension. They all have veracity. And we can engage with these characters, with these energies, entities, and millions and millions of books and movies have been written about them, but the vast majority just think it's woo-woo and it's nonsense and it's just fantasy, when the reality is their whole world is fantasy. Every single bit of it is a non-reality, a pure fantasy, a dream in the mind of cosmic God consciousness. And so yeah. The point is, if you are going to be aware, if you are going to really know the things I'm speaking about, then you have to have experienced them. And some of you tell me that you've experienced this, you've experienced that. Well, I'm like, yeah, you're getting there with this, you're getting there with that, that's right. When you've experienced these things, you know that this thing becomes super, super complex. And you start more and more to disbelieve anything about it. Because all the information that you acquire just tells you that it isn't real. On the sense of the physicality, it is real in that it's energy, it's consciousness, there's all different sorts of entities vying for supremacy and power over others, and all this sort of stuff is going on. And so what we have on the world is a reflection of what we actually have in the spiritual dimension. Now, in one book I read, it was the Book of Spirits. And this book is like 450 pages, and there's a group of people, necromantists, people speaking to the so-called dead, but they're speaking to spirits, and the spirits are telling them about all the different varieties of spirits. And it turns out that the out-of-body entities, the ethereal entities, are pretty well the same as the in-body, only they don't have a physicality. They're evil, and they're angel-like, and they're benevolent, and all the different sort of things, because all this stuff goes on in consciousness. And when people start considering aliens, well, I mean, how else can we consider them other than to project onto them attributes of ourselves? Because we don't know anything else. And so unless there's certain entities and characters which come outside of the general collective consciousness and the polarities and the paradox and the yin and yang and all these different sorts of things which the cosmos seems to be constructed of, and it would appear strange to me in my rationale for things to be able to operate outside of that, because where would they actually be operating if they weren't inside of this cosmic God conscious energy? It seems to me they would have to be operating within it on some level, and the attributes of good and evil, they're going to be carrying over to all different sorts of things. And when you go into the astral world, those attributes are there. When you have supernatural experiences, those attributes are there. And so it seems that that's written into the fabric of the cosmos, good and evil. There has to be these polarities, because if there weren't polarities, then nothing could exist. You can't just have one thing. You absolutely have to have the opposite of that thing for it to exist. Otherwise it doesn't exist. There's no comparison. So what is it if you can't compare it against anything? It's just, you can't label it, you can't think about it in any way. It's just like something that is. Or what is it? Nothing until you've got comparisons, people. So I'm always trying to engage you, and I'm always trying to extract something from you. And so one viewer, she's a long-term viewer, and she's always been in the tizzy about things I say in my videos, and saying that I'm full of shit, and this alter ego that I'm proclaiming to have isn't really an alter ego, it's a flaw in your character. And I'm like, well, the questions I want to ask her then, well, what's a character? And what's a person? And what's a persona? And what's an I? And what's a me? And what's a mine? And all these different sorts of things. And when we investigate all these things, it all ends up in tears for the uninitiated, because it just ends up tearing their fantasy world apart, because it all ends up in Maya, people. Every single avenue that we pursue, there's nothing there. And so I'm always saying to you, I'm role-playing, I'm just acting. And where do you think person comes from? It comes from the Greek word persona. What's persona mean? It means a mask. It's a mask we wear when we're in a character. And so what's a character? Well, it's that thing behind a mask. Oh, goodness me. So we've got ourselves in a ravel, in a riddle inside a mystery, wrapped in an enigma again, haven't we? And then people try to project onto me their Dunning-Kruger affliction. And what can I do? Except patronise. I don't patronise. I'm not patronising anybody. I just point out their flaws. And I say, well, you know, how much have you studied Freud? How much have you studied Jung? How much have you studied psychology in general? How much have you studied philosophy? And of course, to the average woman, nothing. Nothing! And yet, like my sister, thinks she knows the answers to the universe, and thinks just by looking at someone, oh, I know what you are, meh, meh, meh. And so this is what I say to you people, and listen very carefully. When anybody's got a problem with me, and you think that I have issues, or I have character flaws, or personality flaws, or this, that and the other, I'm absolutely pure. The essence of me is pure. But what I am conveying and creating and acting out are characters. And I display many characters, many facets. And like I said to my therapist today, I said, look, she calls them parts. The parts within us, and I'm like, look, I need a bit more definition on that. What do you mean about parts? Because what I mean, or what I think you're inferring, is like alter personalities, or caricatures that you've created, or onboard spirits, archetypes, all these sort of things. You can, yeah, it's kind of like all them. But we use parts. Well, they use parts for this simple person who doesn't know about all these different sorts of things. And so she said, well, I'll try to refer to them then as alters. And so, you know, we're both clear on that one. And so what she's saying is that she's perfectly aware that we have an abundance of alters, alter personalities, characters, role plays, people. And you see, that just blows this silly woman's nonsense out of the water. Just that one line. It just shows the depth of ignorance. And I find it insufferable, particularly, you know, when somebody would have a pathetic attempt at attacking me. And it's like, wow, just wow. Thank you, Dunning-Kruger, for making this painfully obvious negative attribute of the human being so apparent to us, so we can all see it as clear as day, if only we just read a few lines on Google. People with very, very limited knowledge, who are vastly above their station, because they think their knowledge is the be-all and the end of knowledge, when it isn't even scraping the surface. It's so low down that it's just like an elephant trudging on and out. What's just that does nothing. Just nothing. And so what I say to you people is, if ever you are projecting onto me that I am this and I'm that, and you've got resentment and you don't want to help the Awake and Brave get his bike, and the last thing you're going to do is this and that, it's because you have no idea of the magnitude which I'm speaking at and the endeavour that I am struggling with to impart information to you, because your intellect is too low. And here is Supercilious again, condescending everybody. But what's an intelligent person gonna do? Tell us that it's okay, and we're all the same, and there's nobody higher than anybody else. That ain't my bag, babies. So what's actually happened over these years? When I first started out, I was a jolly nice chap. And my videos are like, hi guys, I'm all excited to tell you this and say that and about astral projection, la 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 la. But increasingly over the years, with all of my wisdom being imparted and all the things that I was discovering and all the myth busting I was doing and all the adventures I was going on and all the copious amounts of videos I was making, and what would happen? Barely a single comment. And so we had a think. What the fuck's going on? Am I speaking to the fucking Walking Dead? And I'm like, are you the fucking Walking Dead? What the fuck? Do you not have anything to say? Surely there's some of you out there that have had an out-of-body experience. Surely some of you meditate. Surely some of you have nearly died. Surely some of you have fucking experienced psychedelics or this, that and the other. What? And I'm like, nothing. And so over the years, I've just become exceedingly haughty. There's a character that has been built up, a role play, which just goes, okay, I'm going to give it to the motherfuckers now. You'll get an essence of me. You get this sort of facet. This sort of facet is, it's not a blustering, it's not a condescending, it's a straight level, sort of reasonably easy to comprehend sort of dude, just having a chat, mate to mate sort of thing. But after I put the video up, and it's an hour long, and there's 3 comments on it, and 5 thumbs up, and there's been 250 hits, I'm like, okay, well, if they don't respond to that level, what level do they respond to? Let me call them all the cunts under the fucking sun. Let me rattle their fucking pathetic little low-life cages. Let me slap them upside their stupid faces to see if they respond to that. And then, through the years, I've been poking the proverbial fucking lion in the cage to get a response, and then some of you snap, and you snarl, and you scowl, and you... and all this, and I'm like, is that the level I'm dealing with? Where's the intelligent people? I came here to look for intelligence. What, is this a fucking joke, God? Is this a fucking joke? You having a fucking joke? You having a laugh? You having a fucking laugh? Yes. And so then, I realised, I get it, the cosmic giggle. You've cursed me with genius, and you've put me in a pond of fucking muppets. Oh, right, what could possibly be the reason why you do that? To break my spirit, to make me humble and meek and pathetic and wishy-washy like all the rest of the cunts? No, that's never going to happen. God of the cosmos, go fuck yourself. You're never going to fucking break my spirit. You're never going to cripple me as inside, and you can never have me acting like the same as the rest of the shower of shit. It just isn't happening, because I'm vastly over and above all that. And so those of you that don't like that, you're like, yeah, you think you're going to get me, you think you're, no one's going to give you the money for that, or you're full of all this hate and spite. And it's kind of like, look, I'm not full of hate and spite. I joust and I scour, but behind all that, you're so limited, most of you, that you can't even see the pure spirit. Who the fuck do you think would continue and continue and continue when I am wasting my life talking to Muppets, unresponsive Muppets. Who do you think would fucking continue to do that? Except a Jesus-like fucking messianic figure who is like, forgive them, Lord, because they know not what they fucking do. And even Jesus called them all fucking Muppets and turds, if you read the real books. So when you think it's my fault for speaking to you like this, you're wrong. It's your fault. Why is it your fault? Well, you just showed me why it's your fault. You've shown yourselves why it's your fault. Because 300 people will watch this fucking video, like you watch most of my videos. And you know how many people have sent me money to buy this mountain bike? 18 people. 18 out of 300 of you cunts. That's right, cunts. Why are you cunts? Because you can't see, can you? You're cunts on so many levels. You're fucking stupid. You're ignorant. You're hateful. You're a whole bunch of fucking shit. Because in this day and age, 10 fucking quid is nothing. But you couldn't be bothered to make that, and so you want me to treat you like you're decent people. You want me, like the rest of the shower shit on YouTube, to be begging you and, oh please guys, oh if you don't mind, oh yeah, do this, that's what you like, that's what you fuckers like. Well, I ain't like that, because I ain't giving you motherfuckers respect that you haven't earned or deserved, because mostly I know you're a shower shit, because I've tested you through the years and the years and the years. I've tested you motherfuckers for 16 years. And I know what you are. And it's just a great shame that I have to speak like this to the select few who would much rather I spoke to them directly about wonderful things. But because there's like 280 more of you motherfuckers, then you win by general consensus and overwhelming numbers. I would really love just to fucking eradicate you all and just have a channel for decent people, for decent human beings, because they're the only ones that are going to be grokking me. Someone that's prepared to go, yeah, fuck yeah, I love his fucking videos, I don't want him to leave, he's fucking great, all this fucking shit, yeah, I'm going to fucking give him a bit of this and a bit of that, yeah. 18 people, 18 people. Starting from the top £500 down to £200 and then down to £50 and then lesser. 18, work it out for yourself. So I'm like, well look, there's 18 good people. I've got 2,200 subscribers. 18 are decent people. And all the so-called friends, all you wankers, I don't give a fuck if you fuck off. Just fuck off. Yeah, I'm looking for a change. Why do I want to drag the dead around with me? You know, people living in opulence all over the fucking Western world. I know where you fuckers live. And you can't find a fucking tenner for a goodwill gesture to continue an allegiance with me, even if you think, oh fucking hell, you know, I'm your mate. Well, really? What sort of mate's that then? The sort of mate that can't get his hand into fucking pocket or her pocket for a tenner, go fuck yourselves. Go fuck yourselves. And I'm seriously expecting to see a rapid decrease in the fucking subscriptions. Because in this last 2 weeks, there's been 50 more subscriptions. It's just gone fucking crazy. And people are going, oh, you're supercilious, you're demeaning us. Well, it seems to me, most of you fucking love it. You fucking love it. And so you'll love this. So I say to you, do you want me to continue with Supercilious? Or do you want me to set him aside? Because he's just a character, it's just a role that I've created that fits the fucking job. Just fits the job. It's kind of like, I'm going to unleash Supercilious on these motherfuckers now. And I'm going through my day and I'll read some comments and I'll look at the lack of response on a fucking great video and I'm going to, okay, time for Supercilious. Supercilious! In here, mate. There you go. You got the fucking mic, dude. Give it to him. And he gives it to him. And he gives it to him fucking proper. He gives it to him the best on the fucking world. Nobody's ever given it to him better than Supercilious. And so, Supercilious is the future, people, because more and more people are going to be tuning in to the likes of Supercilious, because he says it how it fucking is. And there is no fucking consideration at all about losing the platform or not getting any patrons or losing friends or getting thumbs down. He doesn't give a fuck. Supercilious is a born and fucking created and manifested warrior of fucking truth, and he's going to be spitting truth out the moment he's unleashed. That's what he does. And so, I'm speaking to the therapist, and she's like, well, how does Supercilious feel about you maybe asking him to retire? And I'm like, Supercilious doesn't feel like we feel. Supercilious is a program and it's running. And he's not autonomous. Like one of the idiots, you know who you are, fool. Said that it's a flaw in my character, and she doesn't even know what fucking characters are or anything like that. It's a persona. It's a character. It's an energy form. It's an imaginary friend. It's a confidant. It's a collection. All these varying spirits. There's the singer, there's the guitarist, there's the trainer, the fitness person, there's the warrior, there's the adventurer, there's the philosopher, there's the religious person, and there's all these characters going on. And the vast majority, you've got no idea that this is going on. You've got to fucking broaden your horizons. And if you picked up a fucking book now and again, God damn it, you'd be relishing, you'd be absolutely loving what I'm doing, because I'm bringing all of that stuff together and I'm giving it to you in one video. I'm plucking stuff out of everywhere, so eclectically, but it's too fast and it's too deep, isn't it? And you just think it's mumbo jumbo. And yeah, I need a better audience. I need a vastly more intelligent audience. I listen to people all the time with PhDs, at least one PhD. They're the only ones, in my estimation, that make sense, because they're the only ones that have ever read a fucking book in their lives. They've been through the whole farming system of school, college and university, and they've took their PhD, and they've at least had to think about a thesis themselves, so they've got to think for themselves to get the PhD, and they read copious amounts of books and they speak to other people with PhDs. Well, I don't have a PhD because I didn't come from that fucking particular cut of cloth. I don't have any of those qualifications. But I could hold my own and more amongst any of them. Any I've ever fucking listened to. And I was listening to Rupert Sheldrake last night and Bernardo Kastrup, and they're speaking about the things that I'm always speaking about. And it was a great conversation, and I'm like, if I ever could get a sit-in, how could I get a sit-in with those people? Each wrote 10 books each and been to university and got degrees and fucking PhDs and all that sort of stuff. They keep it all in the family. And that's how it is. It's a particular fraternity. Whenever you see these people, it's all PhD meets PhD. It ain't PhD meets shit kicker in the street. Doesn't matter how genius he is. Well, who knows him? What accreditation does he have to his name? Does he have letters? No, but he has fucking cosmic God consciousness. And so, this is where I am. I'm kind of like pig in the middle between the deadbeats and, you know, people who can actually think and articulate themselves. And so those sort of people, they're not fucking around on stupid YouTube channels. Doubtless they'll watch you know, big names with prominent people, and they'll read their books, but you know, they're not clicking on some beardy weirdy looking dude, because they're probably going to get the wrong idea. But one day the word will get out, and it'll be a great revelation, a great shift in consciousness, when more and more people start to get tuned into people like me, real people, real fucking people. And so, whatever you think of me, and you think I'm this and you think I'm that in a negative way, well, what I'm doing is I'm holding up a mirror. I'm holding up a mirror to you to look into long and fucking hard. Because the vast majority of you who don't know anything about any fucking thing, particularly your own psychology, then all you're doing to me is projecting onto me. And you've got no idea, I'm just role playing. These characters, they're in a parody of themselves. You know, how many of you know what a parody of something is? You know, it's just an over-accentuation. It's a larger-than-life type thing. And when I'm like blustering about my genius, you know, my book, it's the best book in the world, and all this different sort of thing. An international call. And I'm here for whatever reason. Well, intuitively I know what that reason is. To try to raise the dead. It's the fucking job. Jesus tried it. What did they do? They killed him. You see, this is the human being. Even back then, even 2,000 years ago, they killed him. Everybody hated him at the time. There wasn't a single person that fucking loved him except Mary Magdalene. Everybody hated him for what he was saying. People just can't stand truth and knowledge and wisdom. They hate that shit. And so I was speaking to my therapist today as to how I burn people. I just burn them. I just burn them. Like that idiot in the shop, Krishna. And I go in there and I see his pathetic face. And he slumps up from the counter, you know, dejected. And what do you want? Fucking 8 hours a day in a fucking cold fridge. Fucking, dealing in pennies and pounds that are not even his. He's just on minimum wage. And it doesn't matter whether it's fucking sunshiny or snowing, or it's a blizzard or a fucking hurricane outside, because he ain't getting to see it. And I said, it's fucking blue sky out there, mate. Big fluffy clouds, fucking forest, flora and fauna. The cunt can't look at me now. And I told this story to my therapist. I said, that's what I do. I burn the fucking hole in motherfuckers' hearts with my truth. And she says, how does Supercilious feel about that? And I said, Supercilious doesn't feel, it's just what he does. I'm trying to get it through her head. Supercilious doesn't go, ha 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 ha. Supercilious is a program. Look what supercilious means in the dictionary. It means haughty, condescending, and these sorts of connotations. They're just fucking ideas. Supercilious is an idea. He's not a real fucking entity. He doesn't have energy. He doesn't have control, manipulation. It's just a character I deploy. And but when we're doing this parts thing, we're talking about the personas that we're toying around with and we're playing with, because that's what intelligent people do. And intelligent people are aware of these things. And so I'm like, well, look, Supercilious planted the seed. Because Supercilious is working from the premise of what I am at my core. Pure, wholesome goodness. And so Supercilious has got license to do this to people, to momentarily make them feel a little bit like poo, to make them feel a little bit dejected. But what that seed does, it starts growing, it starts growing, it starts growing. And before long, it's fucking becoming of some magnitude. Then they have to be confronted with it. And it's going to be confronted, fuck knows how long it's going to take, that, fuck me, there is actually a world outside there. There is a sunshine, there are forests, there's beaches, there's mountains, but these fuckers never go to them. Why don't they go to them? And I said this to my therapist. I said, because look, people from India and Sri Lanka, when they were born there, they were born under the collective unconsciousness of poverty and the collective consciousness of poverty. They're born and bred in that spectrum of poverty. And so it is running through their veins. And so when they get the opportunity to come to a nation which isn't riddled in poverty, well, they can run but they can't hide. And wherever they go, their spirit and essence is going too. So they'll get here and they'll be in relative opulence and they'll have money in the bank, but they won't spend it. Why won't they spend it? Because they're always in fear of not having the next mouthful of rice to fucking spoon in. You see, that's just a mentality. And they store things up. They store newspapers. They store jars up. They store containers up because they don't want to throw anything away, because they'd never throw that stuff away in the past. It's always fucking useful commodities. You know, you can have a bowl of rice in this plastic margarine tub, or you can collect the bowl of water from the fucking river, you know, fucking 2 miles away. They keep everything. And that's the mentality. I get the mentality. Yeah. You know, what should we do? What should Supercilious do? Just don't say anything. Just move through this world looking at the pathetic urchins and not do nothing. You see, that's where I'm heading towards. Am I going to retire Supercilious? Am I going to stop fucking caring? That's the thing. Am I going to stop caring? And what happens if I stop caring? What sort of a person do I become if I don't care anymore about people's opportunities, missed opportunities, failed lives, miserable lives, because they're obese and they're stupid because they don't learn or do anything? I mean, I can't not care at this moment in time. I can't not care. And I just think it's a blessing or a curse from the cosmos, because it's got me doing this. And I tell my therapist that I'm effectively a spiritual evangelist. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to wake motherfuckers up exactly the same as what Jesus was doing. So that's why I say I am Jesus reincarnated. Anyone who has the Christos is Jesus reincarnated. If you read about the second coming of Christ, you'll know that Christ ain't coming in the body. He's coming in your fucking spirit, baby. And he's been here a long fucking time. And so, chew on that, motherfucker.